Hi everyone, welcome to Quantum Shift. I'm Saloni Singh, your host, a life coach for CEOs, conscious leaders, and change makers who want to lead with higher consciousness and higher purpose. Thank you so much for all your love for the Quantum Shift podcast. I have got many questions and wonderful feedback about the topics we are covering and how much you're enjoying the conversations we are having on Quantum Shift. Today, I'm doing a special episode. This is a question answer round. So, I have got some questions from my listeners, and I'm really looking forward to answer those questions. So, here is the first question, which is from Sanjeev. There's always a tussle as an executive between sticking to my values and delivering performance because there is so much pressure on me to get results, which makes me pressurize others, my team as well. How do I deal with this? Another question also he has asked is how to become a high impact leader from just a high achieving leader. And I think they both are actually quite interconnected. So first thing, pressure. I would say if you are also going through something like this, because this is a very common challenge with executives and leaders. There is so much pressure from stakeholders, management, that they naturally start to put this pressure on their team forward. But just notice when a team is working under pressure, what happens? Even though there's a belief in corporate, especially in corporates and organizations, that people usually work with fear, coercion, and pressure, when there are deadlines and targets and numbers, they stretch themselves and push themselves really hard and achieve more. But actually, if you take a moment and think, what happens when there is so much stress and pressure on someone? The morale goes down. Sometimes their well-being is also impacted. They start to feel sometimes anxiety and overwhelm as well. And whenever somebody is going through overwhelm anxiety, how their performance is going to be. Even though they might get short-term results, but can these results be really sustainable in the long term? And you will know your answer. So in order to get short-term gains, somewhere we are actually hampering and damaging our own long-term results. That's the first thing I would like you to think. And notice that what happens when we take time to first deal with the pressure that we are experiencing as team leaders or executives. Take time to relax. Pause, be mindful about how the stress is impacting us. And when we take care and nurture ourselves with mindfulness, with rest, with small breaks, maybe just taking deep breaths, what happens is that we start to dissolve and let go of the pressure. And we start to connect with kindness, first and foremost, self-kindness, self-compassion, and then we can naturally extend that compassion to our team. And when a leader actually is leading with kindness and compassion, taking care of their team, they're actually genuinely care for the human being, not just the tasks. They start to become high impact leaders because they naturally start to enable and see the potential in their team. And there's a more collaborative approach. Rather than using the language that you have to get things done, this leader might ask their team, how can we do this together? How can we bring out these particular results? What support do we need as a team? What resources do we need as a team to make this happen? Let's get going, guys, and let's do it together. So that would be language of a leader who is leading with higher values. And naturally, not just high achieving, this leader will be highly impactful as well. I hope that answers your question and many of yours as well. Next question, which is from Jatinder. He said that I constantly feel that I am self-sabotaging myself. Doubts, criticism, and feeling unsure about myself. And I don't know what to do about it. And how do I really handle self-sabotage? Again, this is, I think, a very common thing that we all do, isn't it? self-criticism, self-doubts does actually sabotage our own potential, our own capabilities. Because when we doubt ourselves whether I'm being enough, I'm doing enough, am I really being a good team leader, professional, mother, father, it can even happen in our relationships, then our capacity to really improve, our capacity to do our best start to go down. So first is the awareness and realization that this is not helping. The second thing I would say is to start challenging your doubts. Start challenging that, is that really true? Is this self-criticism, is that true? And what could be the opposite of what I am feeling right now? What if I'm already enough? What if I'm already doing my best? So when you start to challenge your doubts, slowly they start to dissolve. Here is the good news that you already are aware. Awareness is already there. If you have recognized that you are criticizing and doubting yourself, and that's why it's impacting you, then you're already at level 1 awareness. Now, when you start to challenge your thoughts, your doubts, your awareness will go high. Just ask yourself, what if I start to respect myself more? What if I really start to honor my own self and operate from self-belief? What if my fears are not true? And whatever fear comes to you, whether it's fear of people not validating you, not judging you, not supporting you, just again challenge that fear. What if people will support me when I'm being more authentic, when I come from more trust for myself? So as you start to challenge all these fears, you will notice that your awareness will start to rise, and you will find places where you are already doing fantastic. And then when you appreciate yourself, the more and more you appreciate yourself, accept yourself. It's not just about appreciating your strengths, but also accepting if there are any weaknesses, and knowing that you might already be working on building upon those weaknesses. And if you want to learn any skills, and you might be learning those skills, but accepting your journey. And when that self-acceptance comes, naturally that again start to dissolve more and more of your doubts. I hope that you will take this journey of challenging your beliefs, challenging your doubts, and start to learn how to love, accept, and nurture yourself more and more. Some of the practices like mindfulness, meditation, I would highly recommend. And when you're sitting for meditation, it could be gently also looking at everything that you are, and just setting an intention to start accepting yourself unconditionally and see what happens. Thank you for the wonderful question. The next question has come from Tarun Malik. What is the role of spiritual intelligence in decision making, both in personal and professional life? Think about it. When you have to make a decision, how do you really make that decision? Do you analyze and overanalyze, think and overthink, and keep thinking before you make that decision? Or do you listen to your gut? Do you feel into the intuition that you have? Do you just tap into your inner wisdom and take a decision from there? And no matter where you normally make your decisions, take a moment to pause and think. Which decision do you think will come from your higher spiritual intelligence? Which decision do you think is you are likely that you will not be regretting later? And I'm sure I'm hearing that the decision that comes from not from overanalyzing, overthinking, rather from a space of intuition, gut, and inner wisdom. That's what your spiritual intelligence is. And a lot of time people get confused that how do I know whether my decision is coming from my mind or it's coming from my heart and soul? So there's a very simple way to know it. If your decision is coming from a place of fear, If it's coming from a place because you have analyzed that if I don't do this, then this will happen, or if I don't go this particular path, then there will be some consequences. So any decision that comes from fear is usually coming from your ego fearful mind. Versus when a decision comes from a place of love, from a place of, yes, it feels light. You will feel literally light in your body, in your being. That decision is coming from your inner wisdom, from your intuition. So that's how you know whether the decisions are coming from your spiritual intelligence or from your intellect. And yes, most of the time people notice that the decisions that come from your gut, from place of love, stillness, silence, wisdom are the best decisions they have taken, and fewer regrets. Another question Tarun has asked is like any simple practices to cultivate mindfulness in a hectic work environment. I'm sure that every one of us can benefit from some mindfulness practices. So it's very simple. I would say that start with mindful breathing. So, no matter how busy your work is, whether you're doing back to back tasks and meetings and calls, just pause between two activities. Just take a short pause between two activities and call it a breathing pause. Just take 3 deep breaths. So, you had a meeting, let's say, and before you enter the next one, 3 deep breaths. When you have finished doing some presentation and now you want to answer your emails, before you open your inbox, 3 deep breaths. Similarly, you can take time while having your tea break, your lunch break, or your coffee break. Just put your gadgets away. Most of us actually have our gadgets, laptop on or phone with us while we are having even lunch or taking our tea breaks. So just keep your gadgets away and be fully present with the tea, coffee, fruit, lunch, whatever you are having. And take that time to savor whatever you're having. And that will also bring a lot of calmness, stillness in you and make you more mindful, more aware person who leads beautifully and take better decisions. Thank you for this question, Tarun. The next question has come from Vikas Sharma. How do I manage conflicts in a way that strengthen trust rather than divide the team? Very interesting question. How do I manage conflict in a way that strengthen trust rather than divide the team? Conflicts, first and foremost, I would say, actually are precursor for strengthening growth and trust between people. Because whenever there is a conflict, and if we approach the conflict from a mindset that this is going to help us understand each other, understand the situation, and come up with creative, collaborative ideas, then it's but natural that the trust will increase. It's but natural that we will grow as a team, whether it's executives at work or whether it's life partners or parent-child, any relationship. But usually what happens when there is a conflict, most of the time people want to prove that they are right, or they want the other person just to make them understand their point of view. And if both the teams are trying to be proving to be right and they're just trying the other team to understand their point of view, naturally it starts to divide the team. Because guess what? No matter when you are operating from ego, you win or lose. Because in reality, you are losing every single time. So when you prove yourself right as well, that's the sad reality. You have not won because you have lost the trust or the connection with the other person. Imagine, like, how does it feel like losing in an argument with your spouse, with your child, or with some team member with whom you are doing some wonderful work? How does it feel to win that argument? It might feel for a moment really good, and that's why we do it. But actually, it's not winning at all because we have not put our connection, our understanding, our growth together above our need to prove right, our need to control. So that's the first thing. If you really want to build more trust, strengthen your team, and you want conflicts to be the precursor for that growth, coming from a mindset of conflicts are here to help us, how can we build even higher trust? How can we even strengthen our bonds and grow together and come up with more innovative ideas because of this disagreement or this conflict we are having? When you come from this kind of mindset, then growth is inevitable. Try it next time when you have a conflict with your team at work or at home. I would love to hear your feedback on this when you try this. And here is the last question of this episode. And I'm sure all of you are going to love this question. This is about, many actually people have asked me this question. Many of my clients also go through this Imposter Syndrome. So when somebody actually start a new leadership role or any position, usually they feel like an imposter. And they feel that I'm not ready for this big leadership role. And they start to doubt themselves. And how to handle that? The first thing I would say to anyone who is listening to me, who is going through imposter is just a sign that you are growing and you are going out of your comfort zones. And that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Because when you're growing, as there's growth pains, your mind is going to make this noise. Oh, you are not ready. You're not doing it perfectly, or you need to do it in a certain way. And what is important for you is to just relax in your being. Lean fully into this fear of not being enough, for being judged, for not able to do what you're supposed to do in that role. And lean into these fears. Feel the fear fully and do whatever you need to do. Imagine what will happen when you lean fully into your fears. You breathe into them. One thing I would like to make clear here is leaning into your fear does not mean start to think more and ruminate more on your doubts and on imposter again and again. Feeling your fear means feel where in your body you're feeling that fear. It might be a tightness in your chest or some funny feeling in your belly. Feel that fully in your body and allow that feeling to completely dissipate and dissolve in the presence of you. Once you do that, you can naturally come back to more wholeness, more confidence. And then you can ask yourself that, is my doubt valid? Is that true? Is that true that I don't have the capability to do whatever I am wanting to do here? Or is this imposter is just helping me to go beyond, to do even better, to prepare in the best way, to deliver to my best capacity, to make me maybe do my homework and research, maybe learn from others, be more resourceful so I can deliver to the best of my capacity. Feel that next time when your mind is making a noise. And through that, by constantly facing your fears, relaxing and leaning into them and still taking the step, one action at a time, you will notice that this imposter will vanish and it will come back again when you are going again out of your comfort zone or taking a next leap in your career or any other area of your life. And here's a secret for you before I wrap up this episode. You might feel it's quite counterintuitive, but this is a reality that I would like you to try on. You do not have to be your best. You do not have to give your 100% always. Whatever you're feeling right now, even if it's 60, 70 or 80%, that's more than enough. Just go ahead and do it. This podcast is one of that example for me. When I started this podcast, and physically also, I was not feeling that well. And I realized that I was not in a state to be my best and give my 100%. And I had to take my own medicine and implement what I actually coach my coaches about. That you don't have to give your best, you just have to be true to yourself, whoever you are right now, whatever you're feeling right now. And that's how I went ahead and did it. Even though it might be my 70%, I knew that that was enough, because we are always enough. And we can, with that feeling of acceptance about our being, we naturally start to be and do our best as well. When we are not so hassled and inhibited by this need to always give our 100%, always be our perfect selves, we actually start to relax in our beings and become our true perfect selves with all our imperfections. With that, stay grounded, stay connected with your higher self, and keep tuning into Quantum Shift Podcast with me, and I'll see you in the next episode. I look forward to your comments in the feedback section, in the comments below, and see you soon.